spoken by Archangel Michael. My beloved, my chosen one, why are your hands trembling right now? Because deep down, you already know this is not a coincidence. God has drawn you here in this very second. Archangel Michael says, stop. If you don't listen right now, you will miss God. You have only 10 seconds to fully open this message. Time is moving faster than your heartbeat, and heaven has placed this moment directly in your path. You weren't supposed to scroll past this, but here you are. Do you understand what that means? It means your life is now being written in heavenly ink. Your story has reached a turning point. If you walk away, you will miss the miracle that has been waiting for you. But if you stay, you will witness a glory you never thought possible. God whispered to me, tell them, this is their final warning. If they close their eyes to this message, the blessings meant for them will be withdrawn. That's why I'm here. I'm pleading with you. Give me just a few more seconds of your time. Before I reveal more, I must tell you something important. Subscribe, not as a click, but as a step of faith. Because when you tune your heart daily to divine words, you open the door to miracles. This is not just a button, it is a covenant. A small yes that tells heaven, I'm ready. This is not a coincidence. Have you felt that heaviness in your chest? The quiet tears on your pillow? The unanswered prayers that made you wonder if heaven forgot you? God has not forgotten you. He sent me to remind you. With every second you hesitate, the door to your miracle closes a little more. Michael says you're standing on the edge of your destiny. One wrong step, and the blessing will vanish. One right step, and heaven will flood your life with what you've been waiting for. Stay with me. What I'm about to reveal will drive the shadows from your life. My beloved, my radiant one, you feel in your chest right now, don't you? That sudden quickening of your heartbeat, as if your spirit already knows this moment is sacred. Heaven guided your eyes to these words not by chance, but because your entire destiny has been waiting for this moment. Michael speaks with urgency, and he does not come with such urgency unless eternity is at stake, unless your soul is standing on the edge of something heaven cannot allow you to miss. You have only seconds to choose. I must say this with all the force of heaven. You have only seconds to make a choice. Every breath you take in this moment is either drawing you closer to God or pulling you away. Do not be deceived. Ignoring this moment is not harmless. It is the difference between divine intervention and unbearable delay. For days, weeks, even years, you've asked, when God? When will my answer come? When will my tears end? When will my prayers be heard? And God kept whispering, wait, my child, the time has not yet come. But today, this very hour, the time has come. The reason your heart has felt so heavy lately, the reason you've sensed something strange around you, is because heaven has been preparing to release what was once locked away. The miracle with your name on it wasn't delayed to punish you. It was delayed to prepare you. And now, Michael says, it is here, but you must not leave. Don't walk away now. Beloved, don't walk away. You have only these few seconds to receive this, because the enemy of your soul will try to distract you, to pull you away, to make you miss this message. If you close this, it wounds the heart of God. Right now, an angel stands beside you, holding something invisible yet powerful. A scroll glowing with fire that does not burn. Written on it are your next steps, your future blessing, your release from everything that has kept you bound. Michael guards the scroll, but he cannot hand it to you until you say yes. And this yes is not spoken with your lips alone. It is spoken with your attention, your heart, your willingness to listen fully without skipping a word. Every second you remain here is your yes to heaven. Every moment you choose to stay, heaven counts as faith. And faith is what moves the hand of God on your behalf right now. This is not small. This is not trivial. Your entire season is shifting with his choice. You are on the verge of losing him. And now, I must tell you something that will shake you. God said, "Tell my child, they were on the verge of losing me." Yes, beloved, it's a heavy word. Not because you sinned beyond mercy, not because you strayed too far, but because you stopped listening. The noise of the world began to drown out the whisper of heaven. God saw how close you were to missing his voice. That's why he sent Michael crying out, "Stop. If you don't listen now, you will lose your harmony, your blessing, your path that once glowed with light." That's why your chest tightens as you read this. That's why your spirit feels restless. Heaven is pleading with you to stay. You are at a crossroads. Beloved, imagine yourself standing at a crossroads. To the left is the path of endless delay, where prayers go unanswered, nights feel long and lonely, and you keep asking, "Why me?" with no reply. To the right is the path of divine release, where prayers become miracles, tears become joy, and the heavy chains you've carried for years turn to dust. And right now, in this very second, God says, "Choose." He will not force you. He never does. But he pleads. Yes, the Lord of heaven, who can move mountains without hesitation, bends low to plead with his child. Please listen to me now. This message was written with your name on it. Let me pause. Not because heaven's urgency has lessened, but because you need to hear this truth. This message is not for everyone. It does not wander into random eyes. It was written with your name on it. If you were chosen to see this, it's because your heart cried out in the dark night when no one saw you, and heaven answered. Now, you've been entrusted with what others are not yet ready to hear. This is sacred. This is personal. This is for you. Even now, as you sit here, you feel your chest tighten with a strange mix of fear and hope. This is not coincidence. Your spirit recognizes that this is more than words on a screen. This is heaven breaking through the noise of your day, the endless distractions pulling your eyes everywhere but upward. Michael has waited for this moment for hours, guarding the message your soul has longed to hear. He has paced the spiritual realm, calling, urging, declaring, "Now, now, now." And finally, you are here. Don't take this lightly. Do not take this lightly. The moment you stop reading, the enemy rejoices. Distraction is his easiest weapon to steal you away. But if you hold on, if you keep your eyes fixed on these words, heaven begins to shift. This is the power of a divine word in its appointed time. And this is your appointed time. You may ask, why now? Why not last week, last month, last year when I was weeping? Here is the truth, whispered from God's own heart. Because diamonds are not born in shallow fires. Because what he is about to release in your life is so great. It required waiting, breaking, and pain to form you into someone who could carry it without collapsing. You thought the delay was punishment, but heaven whispers otherwise. It was preparation. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every door that slammed shut in your face was not rejection. It was refinement. The fire didn't come to destroy you. It came to burn away the fragile layers so your unshakable core could emerge. And now, the fire has finished its work. You are ready. That's why Michael stands before you now, commanding your attention, pleading with you not to miss this moment. He cries out, "Stop," because your destiny is seconds away from taking flight. Not years, not some distant future. Seconds. The veil between you and breakthrough is thinner than ever. And this moment is fragile. One doubt, one hesitation, and the portal begins to close. Heaven is generous. Yes, but heaven also honors your choice. That's why I must remind you, you have 10 seconds to open your heart. Not 10 minutes, not 10 hours, 10 seconds. Every breath you take right now is a countdown. That's why your spirit feels restless. why your stomach tightens, why your skin tingles. Time is sacred now. Every second is the sound of heaven's clock growing louder. And if you say yes, your life will never be the same. Beloved, let me take you deeper. Michael has a vision, and I see it now. A table in heaven covered in scrolls, each inscribed with a name in golden ink. Angels move around the table, delivering scrolls to chosen ones across the earth at appointed times. And there, among them, one scroll shines brighter than the rest. It bears your name. That scroll has waited too long, guarded by Michael himself, because the enemy tried to steal it. But God said, "Not yet. They're not ready." And Michael obeyed. He waited. He fought. He protected that scroll until heaven finally released it. Today is that day. The scroll is no longer on the table. It's in Michael's hand, hovering before you. He cannot open it for you. Only you can. But if you refuse, if you turn away, it will return to the table, sealed again. Maybe for years, maybe forever. That's why Michael cries out so fiercely, "Stop!" And you dare to scroll past this? I know your mind may whisper, it's just another message. But ask yourself, why does your chest feel different? Why does your body react as if lightning crawls beneath your skin? Because your spirit recognizes what your mind cannot yet grasp. This is what you cried out for in silence, when you whispered into your pillow, when you clenched your fists and asked God why he felt so far away. Heaven heard you. Though the silence lasted long, it was never rejection. It was orchestration. Every unanswered cry echoed in heaven, marked, preserved, prepared. And now those cries converge into a response so weighty, it cannot be delayed, not even for a second. That's why this message appeared. That's why you're here. This isn't entertainment. This isn't coincidence. This is divine rescue. Do you remember the moments you almost gave up? When you thought you'd never be free of this? That the pain might be eternal? That the waiting might never end? And yet something kept you moving, even if barely. That something wasn't your strength. It was heaven holding you by a thread. God said, "Not yet, my child. Don't give up. The day is coming." And now, that day has come. Archangel Michael shakes the heavens with urgency because the scroll bearing your name is ready to be opened. Do you understand the gravity of this? What's written inside is not just a blessing. It's transformation. It's the unlocking of every delay, the healing of every wound, the restoration of every stolen part of you. This isn't just about changing your circumstances. It's about changing you. But here's the warning. The enemy will try to convince you to stop reading, to dismiss this, to say maybe later. That's his greatest trick, whispering later until later becomes never. Don't fall for it. Michael's command is clear. Listen now, not later. Now, because when heaven aligns like this, when the clock strikes this exact moment, if you miss it, the alignment breaks. That's why this message pulses in your chest like a second heartbeat. If you honor this moment, if you hold on, if you open fully, the gates swing wide. If you reject it, the gates slam shut. The choice is terrifyingly simple, and it's yours. Beloved, let me tell you the truth. God has not forgotten you. He has fought for you in silence. You may think nothing happened all these years, but behind the veil, fierce battles raged. Angels stood guard around you when darkness tried to consume you. God himself fought enemies you never saw. And though you felt alone, you were surrounded. Every tear watered the soil of your future. Every unanswered question echoed through heaven's halls. Every broken piece of you was carefully gathered by God's hands. And now he wants to return them to you, transformed into something beautiful. But he can only do that if you listen, if you open your heart completely, if you let him. So I say again, stop. Don't scroll past this. Don't dismiss it. You're standing on holy ground. Heaven has paused its endless motion to focus on you, on this moment, on this message. You feel it. The air is heavier, holier. It's not your imagination. It's the presence of heaven leaning in. And Michael whispers with fierce love, don't lose God. Don't lose the miracle. Don't lose yourself. Open now, my child. You may not realize how thin the veil is between you and heaven right now. If you could see in the spirit, you'd see Archangel Michael towering above mountains, his light pressed to the earth beside you, shielding you from every distraction trying to pull you away. You'd see angels surrounding you, wings spread, whispering prayers and speaking your name into heaven's light. And you'd see the enemy, furious, trembling, trying to distract you from these words, because he knows if you stay, his grip on your life will vanish. Yes, beloved, this moment is that powerful. You are seconds away from breaking chains that have held you for years. But only if you keep reading, only if you keep listening. Heaven cannot force you. God honors your will, but he pleads. He asks you to stay. Remember for a moment, beloved, remember every time you felt invisible, every time people walked away, every time you gave everything and still felt empty. Do you remember how your heart cried out for something more? That pain was not a curse. It was God lifting your spirit higher, refusing to let you settle for less than your heavenly portion. You thought you were abandoned, but you were being preserved. You thought you were overlooked, but you were being hidden until the time was right. And now, Michael says the maturing is complete. The waiting is over. The harvest has come. Beloved, this word is not abstract. It means that what you thought was lost forever will soon be restored. The time you thought was wasted will soon be redeemed. The tears you thought were ignored will soon be rewarded with laughter. But you must stay. You must not walk away. Do you understand? The enemy has always feared you. That's why your life has faced such attacks. That's why betrayal, disappointment, and heartbreak found you again and again. Because the enemy knew if this child ever fully steps into what God prepared, darkness cannot stand. So he fought to distract you, discourage you, delay you. He fought to make you believe you were ordinary, powerless, forgotten. But heaven laughs at his lies. Michael stands here now to tear the blindfold from your eyes and declare, you were never ordinary. You were chosen before the foundation of the world. Every scar you carry is not a disqualification. It's a mark of survival. Each wound prepared you to bear the weight of glory that is about to be released. And this is what you must hear with a trembling heart. God says you are closer than you think. The blessing you believed would take years is already at your doorstep. The breakthrough you thought was impossible is forming behind the scenes. The relationships you considered dead are already awakening. The financial chains you feared would bind you forever are beginning to break. But here's the condition. Do not lose faith in these seconds. Do not reject what your spirit already knows to be true. Because if you walk away now, you will close the door on what was ready to enter. Heaven says, tell them their miracle is closer than the next sunrise. Tell them their answer is nearer than their next breath. Beloved, pause with me here. Look at your hands. They may seem empty, but in the spirit, they shine, open and waiting to receive what heaven is pouring into them. It's as if golden oil is flowing into your palms. Oil that heals, restores, and anoints. Can you feel the warmth as you read these words? It's not your imagination. It's the oil of heaven seeping through the veil, reminding you that you are chosen, that your prayers were never wasted. Every cry was preserved in the bowls of heaven, and now those bowls are tipping. Michael says, stop. Don't miss this moment. It is sacred. Protect it. And again, hear this with a trembling heart. God says you are closer than you think. The blessing you thought would take years is already at your door. The breakthrough you believed impossible is forming. The relationships you mourned are stirring. The chains you feared eternal are breaking. But you must not lose faith in these seconds. Do not reject what your spirit knows. If you walk away now, you shut the door on what was ready to enter. Heaven says, tell them their miracle is closer than the next sunrise. Tell them their answer is nearer than their next breath. Beloved, pause again. Look at your hands. Though they may appear empty, they are radiant in the spirit, open and ready to receive what heaven is releasing. It's as if golden oil is pouring into your palms. Oil that heals, restores, and anoints. Can you feel the warmth? It's not your imagination. It's heaven's oil breaking through the veil, reminding you that you are chosen, that your prayers were never in vain. Every cry was stored in heaven's bowls, and now they are tipping. Michael says, stop. Don't miss this moment. It is sacred. Guard it. Still, I must remind you, the countdown is real. 10 seconds. Every moment of hesitation is part of it. That's why you feel urgency, restlessness, divine ache whispering, don't miss this. Don't stop. Don't walk away. This isn't about information. It's about transformation. Your life will never be the same if you let this moment pass through you completely. You won't recognize yourself in the mirror of your future because the chains that weigh you down now will vanish. But if you dismiss this, if you walk away, you may carry those chains longer than you were meant to. The choice is here. It is now, and heaven is watching. Don't think you're alone in this. Even now, I see in the spirit, your loved ones in heaven are leaning toward you. The one you lost, whose absence still aches in your chest, is closer than you think. They whisper, don't give up. Don't stop now. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Heaven is not silent. Heaven is roaring for you. The very sky above you is filled with light because of this word. And Michael, with eyes blazing like fire, points directly at you and says, child of God, stop running. Stop doubting. Stop missing it. Listen, love. Let me remind you again why this moment presses so heavily on your chest. Because eternity is breaking into your timeline. There are rare moments when the eternal collides with the earthly, when the veil becomes so thin that every breath carries weight. This is one of those moments. You wonder why your eyes can't look away, why your heart keeps pounding, as if something is about to burst. It's because your spirit already knows what your mind is only beginning to grasp. This isn't just a message, it's a proclamation. Heaven is announcing your shift. Heaven is declaring your release. Heaven is proclaiming that what you thought was buried is about to resurrect. Archangel Michael has waited for this moment, not for days, but for centuries, because every step of your journey has led to this turning point. Do you remember the nights you whispered in the dark, feeling too weak to speak aloud? It's something inside you whispered, help me, God. Do you remember when you looked at your circumstances and said, I can't carry this anymore? Heaven remembers. It was in those hours that Michael himself was sent. You didn't see him, but he stood at your door, guarding your room, fighting the darkness that tried to silence you forever. You didn't hear him, but his sword battled enemies in unseen realms, preserving your life for this very day. That's why, even when you thought you'd break, you survived. That's why, even when you thought it was over, something pushed you forward. It was never luck. It was never coincidence. It was Michael holding the line until today. And now he's here, speaking, shouting, commanding, don't miss this moment, child of God. If you walk away now, you walk away from what heaven has protected for years. Beloved, I see something in the spirit, a great book taller than mountains, glowing with light so bright it blinds the eyes of darkness. It's the book of destiny, where the names of God's children are written, where the details of their calling, blessings, and inheritance are recorded. Angels turn its pages daily, watching as the movement of your life aligns with what was written. And I see your page. It's marked with fire, tears, and prayers. For years, it remained sealed, waiting for the moment the seal would break. Now, Michael touches that page with his sword. The seal cracks, the fire rises, and heaven declares, finally, the time has come. The waiting is over. The story continues. That's why you can't look away. The story that was paused is resuming. But hear this. The enemy has always feared this moment. That's why every distraction, every attack, every disappointment you've faced was designed to keep you from this hour. He wanted you too tired to care, too wounded to hope, too overwhelmed to notice. He wanted you to scroll past the sacred. But you're here, and it terrifies him, because the moment you receive this word, fully, deeply, the chains he wrapped around you will turn to dust. That's why you must stay. That's why you must keep reading. Because your endurance in this very moment is the final step toward your victory. Beloved, picture yourself standing at the gates. Behind you lies a long road of pain, betrayal, tears, shattered dreams. Before you is a garden so radiant your eyes can barely comprehend it. Flowers bloom where your heart was barren. Rivers flow where your spirit was dry. Laughter rises where your soul knew only silence. The gates, they're open, but only for a few moments. Michael holds your hand, trembling with urgency. He cries, enter now, don't delay, don't doubt. These are your gates, but the choice is yours. Will you remain outside, staring at your pain? Or will you step into the garden prepared for you? This is the urgency. This is the decision. This is why God sent this word. And this is what you must hear. The enemy has always feared this moment. That's why every distraction, every attack, every broken heart you've endured was crafted to keep you from this hour. He wanted you too tired to care, too wounded to hope, too overwhelmed to notice. But you noticed. And now everything changes. He wanted you to keep scrolling, to overlook the sacred. But you're still here, and that terrifies him. Because the moment you receive this word, the moment you fully embrace it in your heart, the chains he wrapped around you will turn to dust. That's why you must stay. That's why you must keep reading. Your endurance in this very moment is the final step toward your victory. Beloved, picture yourself standing at the gates. Behind you lies a long road of pain, betrayal, tears, and broken dreams. Before you stretches a garden so radiant your eyes can barely take it in. Flowers bloom where your heart once felt barren. Rivers flow where your spirit was dry. Laughter rises where your soul once knew only silence. And the gates, they are open, but only for a few moments. Michael holds them. His hand trembles with urgency. He cries, enter now, don't delay, don't doubt. These are your gates, but the choice is yours. Will you remain outside, staring at your pain, or will you step into the garden prepared for you? This is the urgency. This is the decision. This is why God sent this word. Let me say this with all the love of heaven. You've been harder on yourself than God ever was. You thought, maybe I don't deserve this. Maybe my mistakes disqualified me. Maybe God rejected me. But heaven shouts the opposite. God says, my child, your mistakes were nailed to the cross. Your sins have already been washed away. Your failures were forgiven before you ever made them. I'm not here to punish you. I'm here to redeem you. That's why Michael's message is not condemnation, it's urgency. He doesn't point a finger to shame you. He raises a sword to free you. He says, stop running. Stop doubting. Stop believing you're unworthy. God chose you before you ever knew his name. Beloved, this word isn't just about you. Yes, it's personal, but it's also generational. What God is releasing into your life now will ripple through your family, your children, and everyone connected to you. The curses that try to choke your lineage end here. Patterns of loss, poverty, and betrayal break here. Michael's sword doesn't just shatter the chains around you. It breaks the chains around those who will come after you. That's why this moment matters. If you walk away, the cycle continues. But if you stay, if you listen, if you open your heart, the cycle ends. Generations will bless your name because you said yes in this moment. And hear this, you are not too late. The enemy whispers that you missed your chance, that time has passed, that opportunity is gone. But God says, I redeem time. What was lost, I restore. What was wasted, I return. Don't believe the lie that it's too late. Heaven has no expiration date for those who believe. Today, everything you thought was buried is rising again. Dreams you forgot are awakening. What you lay to rest is stirring. Promises you stopped waiting for are drawing near. That's why Michael says, stop, listen, receive. Resurrection is already here. Beloved, do you understand what your spirit is touching right now? This isn't just encouragement, it's activation. Heaven isn't whispering comfort. Heaven is releasing power. For too long, the enemy convinced you that you were powerless, that your prayers were whispers lost in the wind. But God says, every word you prayed was a seed, and I've kept them in the soil of heaven. Now the rains are coming. Now the seeds are sprouting. That's why you feel this strange stirring, this fire igniting as you read. It's not just emotion, it's awakening. You are awakening to who you truly are, chosen, preserved, protected by heaven all this time. Michael's urgent call is not just about guarding your blessing. It's a reminder of your authority. You are not under the power of darkness. Darkness trembles at the thought of you stepping into this moment. And now you're here. Beloved, I see in the spirit how your life looked like scattered ashes. Pieces of you were lost in heartbreak, betrayal, closed doors, and disappointments that crushed your spirit. You thought those ashes could never be gathered again. But here is the mystery of God. He creates beauty not in spite of ashes, but through them. He takes the dust of what you thought was destroyed and turns it into something new, something glorious. The oil of joy flows most abundantly where the ashes were heaviest. The garment of praise shines brightest where despair once reigned. And you, my child, will soon wear that garment. Michael holds it now, draped over his arm, ready to place it on your shoulders if you say yes. You can feel it. The weight of despair is lifting. The heaviness is beginning to fade. Heaven is preparing you to wear glory instead of shame. Let me tell you the truth the enemy never wanted you to hear. You were never fighting alone. In those nights when you said, no one understands, no one hears, no one knows, heaven was closer than your breath. Michael himself leaned over your room when you thought you'd been abandoned. Angels wept when you wept, holding your tears in their hands, letting none fall unnoticed. You were never ignored. You were fought for. This moment is the proof. If heaven hadn't protected you, if Michael hadn't stood before you, you wouldn't even be alive to hear these words. Let that shake you. Let that remind you how chosen, how preserved, how protected you truly are. Beloved, your survival is the loudest testimony that your purpose is still alive. But listen closely. The danger of this moment is distraction. The enemy knows he can't stop heaven from releasing what's written for you. So he'll try to stop you from receiving it. He'll whisper, it's just a message. It doesn't matter. You can read it later. But Michael is shouting over those lies. Do not delay. Do not doubt. Do not reject this. The alignment is too precise. Right now, heaven is open. Right now, your miracle hovers in the air, waiting for your yes. Later is not an option. Later is a trap. Now is salvation. That's why every second of your attention is light. That's why your choice to keep reading is an act of faith. You're telling heaven, I believe, I receive, I won't miss this. And God is already responding. This is heaven's courtroom. The accuser stands, pointing at your failures, shouting about your mistakes, demanding your blessings be revoked. For years, he's hurled accusation after accusation, condemning, blocking, delaying. But then Jesus stands, showing his hands, his scars, his blood, and the courtroom falls silent. Michael enters, holding the scroll with your name, and declares, "Time's up. Case closed. Blessing granted." Do you see it? The gavel strikes. Chains fall. Doors open. And what was delayed for years suddenly accelerates. That's why this moment feels like thunder in your chest, because heaven's court just ruled in your favor. And now I must tell you what comes next. Acceleration. Things that were stuck for years will shift in days. Prayers that went unanswered will suddenly open. The opportunities you thought were gone will reappear, knocking gently at your door. Relationships you believed were dead will begin to breathe again. Financial burdens you assumed were permanent will start to crumble. Healing you once considered impossible will begin to manifest. But all of this begins with your yes. It begins with your decision to stay, to listen, and to open your heart. Michael says the river is flowing now. Step into it. Embrace it. Listen closely, because the next truth is one the enemy has tried hardest to keep from you. You are not just a receiver of blessings. You are a carrier of them. The pain you endured was never wasted. It shaped you into someone who can not only survive storms, but guide others through them. That's why people have always come to you in their moments of need. Why? Even when you felt empty, you still gave. You were trained as a vessel. Michael says the blessing that's coming isn't just meant to lift you. It's meant to overflow through you. Those connected to you will feel the wave of heaven's release. And here lies the mystery. By staying here and listening, you're not just unlocking your destiny. You're unlocking the destinies of those around you. Heaven is weaving a greater story through your obedience. Beloved, consider the word stop that Michael cries out. It's not a harsh rebuke, it's a rescue. Imagine a child running toward a cliff, unaware of the danger ahead. A loving parent doesn't whisper. They shout with urgency, "Stop!" Not to harm, but to save. That's what heaven is doing with you now. God saw how close you were to giving up, to missing divine alignment, to stepping into unnecessary pain. So through Michael, he cries out, "Stop. Don't miss this. Don't lose me. Don't walk away from what I prepared." This cry is love disguised as urgency. And if you feel shaken, it's because heaven is shaking everything that tried to keep you in ignorance. I must also tell you, beloved, that restoration is not coming. It has already begun. Even as you read this, things around you are shifting. Those who once ignored you are thinking of you again. Situations that seemed impossible are changing. Closed doors are opening. Your spirit may not fully see it yet, but the movement has already started. Michael says, "Tell them, the miracle is not tomorrow, it's now." What you feared was lost is already alive again. That's why your heart is racing, why your skin feels alive, why you sense something stirring in the unseen. Because heaven's current is already flowing around you. Still, I must warn you, not everyone around you will celebrate your breakthrough. Some will envy, some will doubt, some may even try to hold you back. That's why heaven is preparing your discernment. You'll need Michael's sword to cut away voices that were never meant to guide you. God says, this season is about clarity. Don't confuse noise with wisdom. Don't mistake proximity for loyalty. I will show you who is truly for you. And beloved, though it may hurt, this revelation is part of your freedom. You cannot step into the fullness of your calling while carrying people who secretly hope for your downfall. Heaven loves you too much to let false hands hold your promises. So pause again, beloved, and breathe. Can you feel the weight lifting off you right now? It's not a coincidence. Heaven is exchanging your burdens for peace, your fear for courage, your sorrow for joy. Michael's presence around you is especially strong because he is filling you with strength. For too long, you've clung to fragile hope, barely holding on. But now heaven is filling you with divine endurance. That's why the countdown feels so urgent, because the season of mere survival is over. You are stepping into a season of prosperity, a season of abundance, a season of divine fullness. The enemy wants you to miss it, but Michael declares no more. This child is crossing over. Beloved, take a moment to look back on your life. Can you see how every season, even the painful ones, carried hidden preparation? The betrayals that broke you taught you discernment. The loneliness that illuminated you taught you to hear God in silence. The failures that humbled you shaped the humility that will keep you grounded when success floods in. None of it was wasted. Michael whispers, tell them, even scars are crowns. Even ashes are altars. Even tears are treasures. That's why the enemy fought so hard to blind you with regret. Because if you ever realized how your pain was working for your glory, you'd walk with unshakable confidence. And now, you're beginning to realize it. You're starting to see heaven's thread running through your chaos. And the moment you see it, your entire story shifts from tragedy to testimony. Beloved, I see a door in the spirit. It's tall, ancient, adorned with symbols you can't fully read, glowing with light that feels alive. You stand before it, hesitant, unsure of what lies beyond. But Michael is beside you, his hand on the handle, his eyes filled with resolve. He says, this is the door your ancestors dreamed of, the door built by your prayers, the door opened by your tears. But only you can walk through it. Only you can claim it. Beloved, your hesitation is not because you're unworthy. It's because the enemy whispers fear. But God says, do not be afraid. Step forward. This is your door. And when you step through, everything behind you will lose its grip. Chains will break without resistance. Night will collapse into morning. And the story you've lived until now will no longer define the story you're about to live. I must tell you, beloved, time is being redeemed for you. You think too much has passed, that you're late, that opportunities are gone. But heaven is not bound by human clocks. God stretches time, compresses it, multiplies it, and bends it for his children. The years you thought were lost will return to you as multiplied harvest. The seasons you thought were barren will bloom double. Michael says, tell them they haven't lost time. Tell them time is now bowing before them. And beloved, this is why the urgency is so great. Because when heaven bends time in your favor, you must not delay. Every second is a seed. Every choice to keep reading, to stay open, is an act of faith that accelerates what's coming toward you. That's why this moment feels alive, because heaven's clock is striking for you. Beloved, listen closely. God is not only saving you from what hurts you, he's saving you from yourself, from your doubts, your fears, your self-sabotage. For too long, you've agreed with lies that said you were small, incapable, forgotten. But heaven is now breaking those agreements. You are chosen. You're seen. You are stepping into everything that was written for you. Michael raises his sword not only against demons, but against the lies that have taken root in your own mind. He declares, enough. This child will no longer call themselves weak. This child will no longer believe they are unwanted. This child will know they are chosen. And beloved, as you hear these words, something is already shifting in your identity. You are beginning to see yourself as heaven has always seen you, radiant, powerful, and deeply loved. This shift is the true miracle, because once you believe in who you are, everything else must bow to that truth. Do you know why you tremble as you receive these words? It's because your spirit recognizes them as truth before your mind can fully comprehend them. For years, you've longed for confirmation that you are not forgotten, that your struggle had meaning, that your prayers were not in vain. This is that confirmation. God sent Michael to cry out, "Stop! Don't lose God. Don't miss this hour." You may not feel ready, but God isn't looking for readiness. He's looking for willingness. And right now, your desire to stay, to keep your heart open, is enough for heaven to pour rivers into your dry places. Can you feel already? That subtle lifting of despair, that warmth pressing against your chest? It's not your imagination. It's the Spirit of God leaning in and whispering, "Finally, you hear me. Beloved, I see a battlefield in the Spirit. It stretches wide, and at its center stands a throne, your throne, the place of your calling, the place heaven prepared for you before time began. For years, shadows have fought to keep you from it, hurling arrows of doubt, betrayal, and fear. You thought the battles in your life were random, but they were always about this throne. Michael has been fighting beside you all along, protecting you, even when you couldn't see him. And now, the enemy is weary. His weapons are broken. His lies exposed. The throne shines brighter than ever, waiting for you to sit and walk in authority. Receive it. Do not hesitate. Do not believe the whisper that says you're unworthy. Michael declares, "The blood of the Lamb has already made them worthy. Their place is secured. Now they must take it." And here is what you must understand with holy reverence. Your breakthrough doesn't fall from the sky. It rises from within. God isn't sending crumbs from heaven's table. He's awakening the treasure already planted in your spirit. The courage you thought you lacked is already inside you. The wisdom you believed was hidden is already in your soul. The strength you assumed was lost is alive in your bones. This message doesn't create something new. It reveals what was buried. That's why you feel fire stirring in your chest as you read. It's your spirit remembering its identity, its authority, its divine inheritance. And once it awakens, nothing can put it back to sleep. Beloved, you're not just receiving a word. You're being reborn in the light of it. Think of how many times you were close to giving up, yet you're still here. Think of how many doors closed, yet you survived. Think of how many voices told you you weren't enough, yet something inside you refused to die. That something was heaven's seal upon you. That unexplainable endurance was proof that you were chosen. Now Michael says, tell them they endured for this hour. Tell them their survival was prophecy. Their very existence is proof that heaven has unfinished business with them. The enemy wouldn't have fought you so fiercely if you weren't dangerous to his kingdom. But the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still reading, proves his defeat. You are a walking victory, even before the miracle manifests. And now, the miracle is coming to match who you already are.